Special Agent Will Trent.
ABC Tuesdays.
You run from the dark. That's why it chases you. Get out of my house!
The hit series Will Trent is back.
Well, this is a manhunt, not a murder that needs to be solved.
And the truth
This man killed my mother and left me to die!
is out
I think if we don't catch this guy, then he's going to go off the deep end.
of control.
They won't even see you coming.
I have to end this.
Will Trent, Tuesdays 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
When you need to send the perfect rose bouquet, only one brand can say they've been the floral authority for 50 years. 1-800-Flowers. Why should you trust 1-800-Flowers? They hand-select every stem to ensure top quality. And with nationwide delivery, smiles and satisfaction are 100% guaranteed. And right now, when you order a dozen multicolored roses, we'll double it at no extra cost. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Order today at 1-800-Flowers.com/SXM. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/SXM.
You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, the family of a man beaten to death in Border Patrol custody finds accountability elusive. A journalist reveals his case is one of many shaped by a little-known unit operating out of view. We'll discuss Critical Incident, Death at the Border from HBO Documentary Films. Joining me to get that done and a lot more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us, private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of the Piper Green series of cozy mysteries, Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca.
And finally, all the way from Valencia, Spain, author of the City trilogy of novels, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Phalians, and the podcast, soon to be a major motion picture, Strange Arrivals. Toby Ball. Que pasa, Toby?
Buenas, Rebecca.
You're getting so good. I'm so impressed. So, Kevin, this is Thursday's program.
It is.
What's coming up on future editions of Crime Writers On?
So on Monday, we're going to talk about the podcast from CBC. It's called The Devil You Know.
All right. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why aren't you wearing the new shirt that I purchased for you yesterday?
Because I'm wearing the new shirt that I purchased before that.
Oh.
But next week, I'll wear the...
Do you feel like you have to wear them in order of when they were purchased? Like if you have a new thing, you have to wear that before you wear another new thing?
I want to keep it fresh for the TikTok.
Got it.
I don't want people looking and going, oh, yeah, it's that same...
There's that maroon sweater that Rebecca likes so much with the V-neck. Yeah. Last winter, I did wear this a lot on the show because it's like a good color and like contrast for the lights and stuff. And then I looked at a bunch of our social media and I was like, man, people must think I only have the one sweater. The one.
Well, you like that one. It's fine.
I do.
But,
I'm just going to have a clothing hot tip.
I can guarantee you Rebecca has more than one thing to wear.
I have so many clothes.
We could do it daily and you would still be...
100%. I'd be fine.
Right.
So, Laura, I have a clothing tip for you.
Yes.
Speaking of Kevin's new shirt, have you ever been to Sierra Trading Post, the TJ Maxx of outdoor stores?
Yes, I have actually been to the Sierra Trading Post in the North Conway ski area multiple times in recent weeks. And I'm like feeling like I'm fitting in that outdoor ski world now.
Yes. So this is a TJ Maxx owned store. TJX, I think, is the name of the company that owns all these. Like they own Home Goods, they own, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. There's a cooking one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they now have, I guess now, we just got it where we are, a store called Sierra Trading Post, which is like their off-license version of EMS, sort of. Like there's no sporting goods, but it's all like sporting clothes, sort of. But my tip is, it is so much better than the men's section at Marshalls or TJ Maxx. Like the shirt situation, the pant. Like, you know how you go to like Marshalls and the men's section is like teeny and it's just the same pair of shorts in 100 different colors? The Sierra Trading Post is it. I'm just saying. I got Kevin this incredible corduroy shirt that's lined in fleece. It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, that's my hot tip of the day.
It was $20.
Yes. All right. Should we go ahead and talk about something very serious now?
Nice transition.
Thanks. I'm just doing my best to try to be transparent for the listeners. Leading off.
This is a case about impunity at the border, and it's a case about all the ways government officials covered up the truth.
In 2010, when Anastasio Hernández-Rojas died after his arrest at a checkpoint, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said it was from a medical emergency. Even though video surfaced showing 20 officers beating and tasing him, none of the men were held accountable for his death.
The Department of Justice announced on Friday that no border agents will be prosecuted for the killing of Anastasio Hernández-Rojas.
An investigative journalist and former CBP agent noted a passing reference to the Critical Incident Team, an organization neither had heard of. They learned the secretive unit isn't tasked with investigating lethal force incidents. Their purpose is to prevent or short-circuit them.
The family didn't know what the sit report was. The attorneys didn't know what the sit report was.
It's not just like a human resources report.
I don't know. But there's no forward-facing information from the agency about what a sit team is.
Critical Incident, Death at the Border from HBO Documentary Films looks into a shadow unit buried within U.S. Customs and Border Patrol working to shield officers from lethal force investigations. It follows a reporter's quest to uncover the Critical Incident Team and learn its true purpose, and tells the story of a family's fight to get some measure of justice for Hernández-Rojas. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Critical Incident. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. So Laura, when I was watching this documentary, all I could think about was, this is again a journalism documentary about an investigation. So yes, it has all the investigative stuff, but all of the journalism is shown, and we follow this reporter, John Frey, kind of in real time as he's trying to get stuff and also brings his wealth of experience reporting on the Customs and Border Patrol to this documentary. I don't think it would be the same without him. What do you think about that?
I love that guy. He is relentless. There was one scene in particular where he's driving around knocking doors and the GPS keeps going, 11 miles to your next destination.
In 19 miles, turn left.
Hi, Mr. Hi. I'm a journalist.
I know who you are. We're not going to talk, sir. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
He's following that story. He knocks the doors. Nobody will talk about Border Patrol. Nobody will talk about, he calls at one point while he's driving in his car on his long journey, he gets the public information officer for the Border Patrol who's just like, put it in an email. I'm not going to be misquoted. This is somebody that has been, their entire career has been reporting on the Border Patrol. So this is the ultimate person that you want to be following through this investigation where there is very little information. There are eyewitnesses. And you're following along. And there's so many good scenes with this guy where you see him, he's even-keeled. He just keeps persisting. He's not being confrontational. He's being persistent. He's being fair. He's being a good journalist. And there's that one scene where he comes out, where he goes in the police department and nobody will talk. And he looks and he sees the police chief around the corner and goes over. And at first the police chief said he's not going to talk. And then he gives him something. And so without that journalistic investigation, you wonder what would the outcome have been in this homicide.
I agree with you, Laura. I did like John Carlos Frey. And that whole scene, I mean, he plays it very even-keeled. But the only time he sort of shows a flash of kind of like how I would have been is after he walks out of that police department, right? And somebody spots the chief. He's like, Chief's not going to talk to us. But then he does. He goes over and takes a stab at it. And that's how they end up getting some sort of confirmation that this critical incident team exists, because some police chief just goes, yeah, like, you know, probably not even knowing he's not supposed to know about it. And that's how like good journalism is done. I do think it's wrapped in the frame of the journalism procedural, but it's a really important issue. And I found it really fascinating. I didn't think it was going to be any more conventional than a lot of sort of these, like, we can't get justice for law enforcement misconduct. But
the journalism layer adds to it, yeah.
Yeah, but this actual story, it takes a turn.
Totally. What did you think about Frey, Toby?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the guy for Border Patrol reporting. He's got to be so patient. Like, he waited for 2 years to get that video from that woman who did the video, and dogged and just doing the shoe leather thing and just knocking on doors and making phone calls and talking to cops, and then seeing a police chief and being like, oh, maybe I should go up and talk to him, where he gets a little bit of some stuff revealed. So he and Jen Budd, who shows up later, seem like sort of the heart and soul of the story, you know, other than Anastasio's wife, who's, I guess, the third person who seems to kind of move the story along and who you sympathize with 100%. I thought this was a really good documentary, and I think a lot of it has to do with the people who are at the center of it. Because again, like Kevin said, there's a certain amount of, you know, oh, here's another thing where law enforcement, or in this case, they don't think of themselves as law enforcement. They're a paramilitary organization, but I'm sure we'll talk about that. You know, that they can't be held to account regardless of what they do, which is part of it. But like Kevin said, it gets even weirder.
To me, this is very much also a government transparency story. And it's airing at a really interesting time because it was filmed before the current administration, right? And you see them trying to get information from government officials. And like, you can very easily say, like, you have a right as a journalist to get this information. The public has a right to this. We're paying for it. But just a couple of days ago, ProPublica published a story that I actually read right before I watched this, where their reporter was trying to get a Department of Education official to comment on a story that was coming out in the sake of good journalism, fairness, right? You give the subject of your story a chance to comment or say no comment. And this is the response they got, quote, "You are not entitled to a response from us or anyone ever." This is where we are today with government agencies. Mm-hmm. Not only are they sort of flouting the First Amendment protections afforded to the press, but they are actively saying that they don't owe the public transparency. And there was something about watching this that both felt hopeful, but also deeply sad. This is a very different documentary if you make it in 2025, where you're not going to be able to sit down with anybody. They're going to tell you don't have a right to know. Not that they're going to sit down with you and then completely bullshit you, like that guy from the Customs and Border Patrol did, the guy in the suit who was just so full of like an unbelievable amount of shit and sort of told on himself. But like now they just won't do it, and then they'll call what you're doing propaganda because they didn't comment. Meanwhile, that they said you weren't entitled to one. So there's sort of that layer in it too that I think makes it a really, really interesting watch. Laura, I'd love your take on Jen Budd because she felt like somebody you would enjoy hanging out with.
I was going to say she's somebody I would go hang out with. Again, like our journalist here, she's this former Border Patrol agent. And I hate to stereotype people by how they look, but you look at her like, she's no nonsense. I wouldn't fuck with her. Like, no. You know, she's got her little short, spiky blonde hair. She's a voice that I was here for because, you know, whenever you hear about stories at the border and you hear about Border Patrol agents, I don't necessarily think that I've ever heard of a former Border Patrol agent going into an advocacy role like this. And I thought that made it so fascinating. You know, she's there looking up federal cases. She's talking about how, you know, oh, they shot at these people because they threw rocks at them and that's why they killed them. And she's not giving up. She's got this interesting dynamic with John, the journalist. They're kind of partnering up on things. But she's got that perspective of what she experienced in the job. And whatever happened, she's now propelled forward to try to change that system and bring out what's happening. She needs like her own sitcom. I'm just saying. Like I would watch reality. Not sitcom. I would follow reality TV show, like Northwoods Law. Like I would take like a Northwoods Law thing and follow Jen Budd around South Border Patrol. I just want more information about her. I was very curious about her. Like at one point at the end, they were talking about not all those Border Patrol agents are bad. It's their leadership that's complacent. And we talk about this a lot when we talk about like police misconduct. And it's like, not all police officers are bad. It's the few that give it a bad name. And unfortunately, in this case, I feel like we do hear more bad than good with Border Patrol agents. So seeing something from her perspective, I thought was, okay, there are still people out there who value human decency and human rights and are willing to stand up for it.
There are people who come correct.
She broke the story, Kevin. Like she's the one who broke the whole thing open.
Right. I mean, how many people looked at that same document and skimmed right past CIT and never really questioned what that was? That's like the only bit of, I want to say, physical evidence, documented evidence of this secret group's existence. And that was just such a great find. That's the thing, like, blows this whole investigation over. Sometimes it's a little detail. You know, like they said, nobody ever tripped over a mountain, right? So this was one of those kinds of things. Toby's right. The whole paramilitary thing, we've got to dig into that. But the thing that I was kind of wondering about, I always wonder this, and it's not part of this documentary, but why is the reflex that everyone has to get a lick in when someone's getting knocked out, right? I mean, I understand that, like,
I guess we're all kicking this guy now. Let me do it too.
Right. I mean, like,
it's
why?
Wild.
I wonder on the behavioral level, on the brain level, what is going on? It's not, I get like, oh, well, you know, there's culture and protection and these are the protocols. And some guys would be like, oh, I'm going to stop back. But there's like a berserker bloodlust. With 20 people, they were too deep, waiting their chance to just kick the guy. I'm like, is it 100% these are 20 bad people? Or is part of this also like hysteria in the Dan Taberski way, where the adrenaline just pumps up and everybody loses control? It's just so above and beyond. It's so unnecessary. Just, I think when I say it, it just seems obvious. Well, they shouldn't be doing this. I feel like there's a second thing going on where they are somehow activated at some sort of biological level to just also, I want to punch and kick here.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants
to be somebody more trained, more disciplined would.
If it weren't for the guy saying on the tape, "Stop resisting," which
shows
that they know.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I think what this is a cultural thing, so that everybody is complicit.
But he's not resisting. So my take on what is happening here is he's not saying quit resisting to Anastasio. He's saying quit resisting so that everybody who's watching will think that this guy was being combative.
This is a cultural thing. In my opinion, if everybody does it, nobody gets in trouble.
I understand that. I'm saying I think both things are true.
I think that's on purpose. What do you think, Toby?
Well, I know that there's been a lot of study of this phenomenon, and it's not just in terms of violence, but it's in terms of when people all act in ways which they normally wouldn't act. And I think part of it goes back to probably World War II and the rise of Hitler and stuff. But there's this idea that once you're in a group like that, who's sort of taking collective action, that you sort of lose your sense of individualism, and that you're kind of allow yourself isn't quite the right word, but you are able to do things which you morally, like if it's just you alone in a room, you wouldn't be kicking this guy, but he get kind of caught up in this sort of collective action, and you lose a sense of your own self and sort of join in on it as being part of a group rather than as an individual. I mean, that's not a very eloquent or nuanced way of saying it, but I think that's at least like part of the theory. And I can't remember some class I took. It's like Emil Durkheim or somebody wrote a lot about that, and it was sort of that idea.
Yeah, thank you. That was kind of the answer I was looking for. Not only the biological trigger that gets to that place, but also, like you say, a permission structure is also formed that allows like those kind of actions. Like there's a permission structure for you to join us on Patreon.
Oh, there is.
It's absolutely cool.
We're in the business section. A lot of people do it.
It's a lot of fun to get exclusive content at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia. You'll get podcasts every month. We put more than 20 podcasts in this feed.
We're working way too hard. What the hell?
It includes the Crime Writers on After Show, Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast, Married with Podcast, Something is Off. Or not something is, it's a contraction there. Something's off. And Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker podcast. Join us at the Let's Do What We Do level, and you'll get the regular podcast early and ad-free. And if you're a deep diver, you are an official sponsor of Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. If you're curious about what the books in Toby's podcast are going to be in the book club for 2026, one of the places you can go is check out the section and all the links at our Amazon storefront, right? If you go to amazon.com/shop/crimewriterson, you'll get to see all sorts of stuff, including the whole list that Toby's picked out. You can go ahead and click on and get your hard copies or your audiobooks or your Kindles, but you'll also get to see some of our favorite things. So, Rebecca, what are this week's Amazon recommendations?
Well, Kevin, I've got one thing that I'm never going to be able to live without ever again.
What's that?
I bought, those fluffy blankets on our couch, that like faux fur plush stuff. I bought
Looks like a Muppet.
Yeah, I bought a duvet cover made out of that shit, and it is incredible. Even Kevin, even you, who hates duvet covers and the process of putting them on, etc. For you, it's like it feels like the first time every time we do it. You have to admit, this thing induces a coma, and it's pretty freaking awesome. And I have the brand here if anyone's curious. It is called the Jelly Moni Plush Duvet Cover. It is fantastic.
Now, Toby, what are your listener-inspired Toby Ball's deep cut recommendations?
We're going to start off the old DGS LTENV teal side-loading bubble mailers. 12 by 9 inches self-seal padded mailing envelope, pack of 27 for some reason.
Hold on, I didn't get all those letters. DJST what?
Forget DG, but it's close. SLTENV. So it's something, and then ENV for envelope.
Oh, okay.
We assume.
And this is perhaps the saddest thing I've ever had to read for the Amazon.
Oh, no. Is it an urn for a dead person?
No, it's Cleveland Browns pennant banner flag.
Oh.
How old?
I don't know, man. It's before my time.
Is there championship shirt?
I don't know.
And they never get to
we
sell?
actually, the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore, and there was like a week when they were the Baltimore Browns, and my dad got a Baltimore Browns t-shirt from one of his friends who lived in Baltimore. So that's definitely a collector's item.
Huh.
It's one of the only professional football teams named after a person.
Really?
Yes.
One of
Coach
the only?
Brown. Yeah. I can't think of any
What
other
about
ones.
Mr. Eagle?
There's no Mr. Eagle,
Oh.
Mr. Peanut.
Mr.
All right.
Charger?
Be sure to shop us first at amazon.com/shop/crimeWritersOn. We earn commissions on qualified purchases.
Kevin Flynn,
Yes.
do we have any Patreon patron saints of the week this week?
Our Patreon patron saints are Christy Lewis and Ashley Gibson. Bless you.
Christy and Ashley, you know what's up. You're supporting us on Patreon. We can't do what we do without you, and you are phenomenal. We love you so much. I can't thank you enough. Kevin.
Yes.
Does that end our business section?
Thus ends the business section.
Let's go ahead and fade that music out right now. Kevin, who's our next sponsor?
Oh, well, we are beginning the year with our friends from Quince.
Our friends indeed.
Yeah. Are you starting the year needing a wardrobe refresh? Maybe you got too many robes for Christmas and not enough
All
great
the moms
sweaters.
with their robes.
Yeah. Look, you got to be layering. You got to be mixing. You got to be building a wardrobe that lasts. And with Quince, their versatile styles make it easy to reach for them day after day.
I just bought from Quince basically my new favorite sweater.
Yeah.
It's a Mongolian cashmere kind of boxy cropped cardigan. It is this beautiful color, heather truffle brown. It goes with neutrals. It goes with black. It goes with jeans. It goes with skirts. I love this sweater so much. You are going to be seeing a ton of it this winter.
Yeah, that works because Quince also has these beautiful 100% silk tops and skirts. Easy, like I don't want to say mix and match.
Oh, you
but
can mix and match.
Okay.
You can say that.
Yeah.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
Bonjour, hi.
That's QUINCE.com/crime to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
Special Agent Will Trent.
ABC Tuesdays.
You run from the dark. That's why it chases you. Get out of my house!
The hit series Will Trent is back.
Well, this is a manhunt, not a murder that needs to be solved.
And the truth
This man killed my mother and left me to die!
is out
I think if we don't catch this guy, then he's going to go off the deep end.
of control.
They won't even see you coming.
I have to end this.
Will Trent. Tuesdays 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. From roof repair to emergency plumbing and more, done well. So the next time you have a home project, leave it to the pros. Get started at Angie.com.
So, Laura, we discovered there is this secret unit, the Critical Incident Team, inside of the Customs and Border Patrol. There's been no appropriation from Congress for it, as is pointed out, et cetera, which mattered back then. But the purpose of this team is not to investigate what happened. It's to protect the agency from liability about what happened. Were you surprised at how explicitly that's sort of laid out? And what do you think of the concept of this generally? You love it, right?
This is dystopian. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I fucking love it so much. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm so glad I live in a fucking democracy. Sorry. No, it's what's wild to me is when you hear about the lengths, is particularly in this case, it really sheds light on this unit. They go up onto the pedestrian bridge. They take the video cameras off. They erase the videos. They clear the crime scene of any evidence. They go to the hospital. They remove the taser wires. It's like something that would happen in like another country, not here. And it's
Ray Donovan. It's Ray Donovan is what it is.
Yeah, it's like something
the guy from
out
Pulp
of
Fiction. Was it Dr. Is it Fox or the Wolf?
Yeah.
The Wolf, yeah.
There's no information, but what they can't mess with are the eyewitnesses. There are people that saw what happened. And I think they did a really good job shedding light on this very shadowy, off the books, behind the scenes, critical incident team that's doing things when there are these deaths that occur when people are in custody so that there's no accountability for what happened. And I think the reporting in this that shed light on that, the fact that that unit is then disbanded in 2022, I mean, hello. But what would have happened if people hadn't stood up? How long would this have gone on? It's absolutely terrifying to think if you were in that situation and you had a loved one that was killed, that level of cover-up was taking place. I can't even, I used to have my thunder, lightning bolt sound effect. That doesn't even encapsulate
I can stick it in here right now.
Feel.
Yeah. Well, did it register on the Richter scale? Is that what you're saying?
It explodes the Richter scale. It's like the fact that in this day and age, that was allowed to go on is absolutely terrifying and sickening and horrible.
So, Toby, I alluded to it earlier, but there is an interview with the Border Patrol head guy, the suit. And this is, in my opinion, not even somebody who's, he's making like a superficial attempt at appearing to be good faith, but it's so superficial. What did you think about this interview and what he had to say?
So I guess there's two, right? There's the one, and I can't remember what he was, but the guy who was sort of in uniform, who was talking, and they were at the San Diego Border and Custom thing.
I'm thinking of the ginger guy in the suit.
Oh, the ginger guy in the suit. Yeah, he's just full of shit. Like even though he's, I guess, nominally the head of the Border Patrol, he's sort of acting like a shill. Like he's essentially just denying everything or repeating talking points without making any attempt to engage with the reality of the situation.
Well, feel free to talk about the other interview as well and what he had to say.
Yeah, well, this other guy, I think was a little more forthright, although not necessarily in a good way, but he talks about how the Border Patrol is deeply based in tradition and their motto, I guess, is honor first. And he refers to it at least once, but I think a couple times as a paramilitary organization. And I think that's the first time that concept kind of comes up in the documentary, because I was like, wait, did I hear that right? But it was like moving on.
It's like, do you guys know what that word means?
Yeah, like paramilitary is generally like a pejorative. Like that's usually like hit squads in Latin American countries and stuff. So I was just kind of surprised, but then as you go along, you realize that the self-conception is not that it's a law enforcement agency, that it is in fact a paramilitary. Like they have sort of the military attitude towards the people who they are going up against isn't really the right word, but apprehending or preventing from entering the country or whatever. And that sort of mindset, I think, is just very, very different in that you are able to, instead of like keeping the peace and all this stuff, it's like you've got an enemy that you are combating, and that changes the way you're going to approach everything. So I thought that was pretty, like I hadn't really heard that about the Border Patrol, and maybe that's just I've somehow missed out on it, but I thought that was pretty problematic, and it made me think about, this all is crazy because it's before 2025 when Border Patrol suddenly ramped up and became this huge thing.
It was a huge thing before. There were a tremendous amount of deportations
before,
for
but
many
now
years,
it's like even bigger. Before I left, and you guys have probably seen this too, but there was an ad on Boston television that was basically say, law enforcement officers tired of having the law keep you from doing your job the way you know how? Join Homeland Security.
Complete the mission.
You won't be bound by these. And it's like, what the fuck?
No pesky rules. You can hurt anyone you want.
And it's just right out there. So I was kind of thinking, well, without getting super political, but I feel like this is like fairly obvious that while that CIT is gone, like I don't think it even needs to be around anymore, because I think even if you uncover things like that, I don't think there's anybody who's going to enforce it anyway. I don't think there's no
one gives a shit. Yeah.
So you can just it's gone, but it doesn't need to be around anymore because what they had to do is no longer relevant.
Right.
That was my big takeaway too. And I think I will remember that longer than CIT or any sort of the individual stories. Because Toby, by definition, paramilitary means outside of the government.
Correct.
But it's closer to their mindset. And I don't know if this was the charge that Congress gave when they established this, but in their head, they, like I said, they're not anything close to cops. They're not there to try to arrest people. They're there to engage in battle. So that's one of the reasons why, like, some of this doesn't connect about, like, well, how come they don't have internal affairs? How come? Because in their mind, they are not built that way, right? And it does, as you imply here, inform a lot of what we see from ICE, which is a different division within the Homeland Security, though they work closely together. It certainly informs the behaviors and the tactics that they are using. Your local sheriff's office, fugitive task force, they may, come in hot to like capture some guy in an apartment, but they know 100% what they're there to do, and they understand that they are law enforcement, right? They are looking for guys now that want to use military training and sort of that mindset to, do whatever with no rules. And like, now I get it, because it isn't a change of kind. It's just a change of degree.
I think it's just a change of being transparent about it. I think they're being transparent about it because they need more people now.
I mean, openly transgressive.
They're being openly transgressive. They're saying we are not going to. I mean, this is the big story coming out of Border Patrol. Like, we saw a little bit of it in the montage they put together. Was that a common thing that they did was pretend that people were throwing rocks at them?
Yeah.
And then use that as an excuse to shoot them. Now it's like, I don't even think they'd make up the thing about throwing rocks. It would just be like, we just shot him. I mean, it's a very, it's the same behavior. It's just not looking over your shoulder anymore when you do it. Laura, one of my favorite things to see in documentaries like this is I love watching filmed depositions. Like depositions, I think, it's obviously different than a criminal trial. You can actually infer something from somebody asserting their right to not talk in a civil case in a way that you can't do in a criminal case. You're not supposed to do. So what did you think of these deposition tapes we saw? Because we saw these guys clearly had no interest in saying anything because they needed to protect themselves.
Yeah, that was fascinating because it was interesting. They had like 3 in a row that said all the same thing. And then there was one guy, I was like, that was the guy that was going to crack in the end, I think, who maybe felt bad about what had happened, but was following his attorney's advice, where he was like, upon advice of counsel, I'm not going to speak now until this matter is done and the grand jury has reconvened. At that point, I may speak. Whatever he said, I was like, that guy there, he's the crack in the operation.
And the apology guy, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to assert my rights.
Super polite.
It's like,
sorry, I'm tasing you.
Yeah, exactly. And I always think about those kind of things because you and I, Rebecca, both watch a lot of British crime procedurals, and they're always like, no comment, no comment, no comment, no comment. But there it's like if you say no comment to something you later rely on in court, you're fucked. Here, the standards are different.
Do you remember if Mr. Hernandez stopped resisting at any point?
No, I don't.
That never happened as far as you're concerned?
As far as my memory goes, no, sir.
So you went in and used force?
I used physical techniques, yes.
You quarrel with the use of the word force?
No.
You used force? Yes?
I thought a better descriptor would be physical techniques.
Seeing those agents back to back all saying the same thing, again, it just sort of reinforces this is why this has gone on so long. Because nobody's going to say shit because they are CYA.
Laura, I love that you and I both have the British version of the Miranda memorized in our...
Yes.
Agent Will Trent.
ABC Tuesdays.
You run from the dark. That's why it chases you. Get out of my house!
The hit series Will Trent is back.
Will, this is a manhunt, not a murder that needs to be solved.
And the truth
This man killed my mother and left me to die!
is out
I think if we don't catch this guy, then he's going to go off the deep end.
of control.
They won't even see you coming.
I have to end this.
Will Trent, Tuesdays 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. From roof repair to emergency plumbing and more, done well. So the next time you have a home project, leave it to the pros. Get started at Angie.com.
I had the time of my life. I never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid. If you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices, we'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out Critical Incident? It's a documentary that you can find on HBO. Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Critical Incident?
This is a thumbs up for me. I think if you're somebody that is at all paying attention to what's happening in our country right now, you should watch this. And if you're not paying attention, you really need to be paying attention. This is a heartbreaking case, a death that happened in 2010. So there's been time for more information to come out. A man who had been living here for a quarter of a century. He's trying to get back here to his wife and 5 children. He's stopped, he's tased, he's beaten. I think what I loved about this, and I don't say loved like I love what happened in this case. What I loved about this is it shines the light on people that are standing up to a system where human rights are being completely disregarded. And we are seeing the power of journalism with a journalist who is a long-established journalist who follows this story doggedly in a very professional, non-inflammatory way, but in a way that he's not going to give up. We see somebody who used to work in that system who realizes, hey, I don't like what I took part in or that I knew was happening and I'm going to make changes. And also there's a conclusion to this at the end where you feel like, okay, this was a hopeless situation, but maybe there's a glimmer that something might be different. And I'll reserve judgment on that until I see what actually happens. But there's a glimmer at the end that all of the work that was done by the people in this to right these wrongs might actually make a difference. So this is something that sent all of my lightning bolt, Richter scale sound effects off in my head. It was a hard watch, but I think it was something that's very important to watch.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Critical Incident, Death at the Border?
Yeah, I'm a big thumbs up. I thought this was really good. There's the journalism aspect of things and the investigation finding out about this program. A lot of it's also about accountability, the accountability of the Border Patrol, but the idea that there has to be accountability, especially when you have agents of the government with guns, and what inevitably is going to happen, even in the best of circumstances over the course of years, there are going to be incidents with guns. And then how do you treat those? How do you hold people who are agents accountable for their actions? And that wasn't happening here, and you learn quite a bit about why. So anyway, I think it's important. In some ways, it feels like current events have made this like almost a story of the past, but I think it's still important to watch. So I give it a big thumbs up.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, I'm also a thumbs up, for all of the sort of things that it says about politics and the system. I agree with. I also like to evaluate this, and does this work as a documentary? Because a lot of times, we get this set up and it's essentially people tilting at windmills, trying to get accountability from a system that does not want to give it. And I was kind of thinking, like, this is where this is going to go. but it doesn't. And it ends up being a much more interesting journey for the people involved because it ends up being more of a third person kind of tale instead of the filmmakers actually digging up different things. We follow a journalist and an activist who do, and without giving it away, they are able to make some interesting findings. So the story didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So it does accomplish a couple of different things. That's why I'm giving it a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs up too because of how it works as a documentary. The story is incredible. The investigation and what it uncovers is really interesting. What was most interesting to me about this as a production, as a documentary, is that it follows a journalist doing an investigation, but it's not made by that journalist. This is a filmmaker sort of covering the journalism investigation. Victim suspect. And there's something about that to me super works because you avoid the pitfalls of things like the very performative, now I have to act like I'm doing this all over again, or let me show you my papers, or I'm going to show my busy making phone calls and whatever. You just see the guy doing his job, right? And sure, there might have been some craft involved, but I didn't care because you end up getting a very interesting portrait of this man that's been doing this work forever, and it probably feels very hopeless. If you've been working on one beat for 20 plus years, and that beat is essentially the news is getting worse and worse and worse and worse, like imagine how that must feel. You know he's not getting rich doing this, but it's driving him, and he's good at what he does, and he's being filmed by a filmmaker. So you get like a distance of remove from it, where you get to enjoy him as a protagonist in a way that doesn't at all take away from what he ends up uncovering in his work. So I just think it works on multiple levels. So I highly recommend this. I send it to everybody in my newsroom to watch, which I don't do very often, but we get approached sometimes by filmmaking companies who want to make things out of IP we've made, and there's like a lot of fear around it. And I'm like, this is what it could be. It could be something like this. It could be measured. It could be a look at our work without making anyone look real dumb. Like, it's just super well done. So yeah, it's a big thumbs up for me for Critical Incident: Death at the Border. All right, that's going to do it for us. But before we go, Laura Bricker, do we have a cat of the week this week?
We have a cat of the week this week that needs to be held accountable.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe. We'll see. This is a fun one that has popped up before in our official Crime Writers on Facebook discussion group. Jeanine Winner has posted about this before. Her boyfriend's cat continues to plot her murder. This black and white tuxedo cat, who, by the way, face markings look like a penis.
Ooh.
And also has that tipped ear because it's a former feral, so we know that they're rugged, street smart.
I think this cat looks like a Nazi, though.
Yeah, it does. It always poking around the corner, kind of staring at her, and in a way that's like, I wouldn't sleep there if I were you. And if I was sleeping there, I would be on alert. So, Jeanine, I hope you make it through this.
All right, Laura Bricker. Folks want to reach out to you to pitch any kind of animal. Of course, they can go on our Facebook group, Crime Writers on the Facebook group, or they can email us. But what if they want to find you online and just say, Laura, this is, I believe, should be the cat of the week?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Blue Sky and Instagram.
And Toby Ball, if folks are not in Valencia and they still want to run into you anyway, how can they find you on the internet?
I'm at Blue Sky at TobyBallNH. I'm at Instagram at TobyBall603. If you've been waiting to binge Rip Current and haven't listened to it yet, it is now bingeable. All the episodes are out. There's going to be some bonus episodes that are coming out over the next few weeks, but all the main episodes are out. And More Like Ancient Aliens has John Hodgman the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it's as funny as you would imagine.
Kevin Flynn, how can you be found online?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
I'm just looking at a picture of this cat, by the way. That's a Hitler mustache.
Totally Hitler mustache.
I know. It's really unfortunate, but he's cute, though, if it weren't for that Hitler mustache. You can find me everywhere at Reb Lavoie. I'm on all of the social media, even the shitty ones. I mean,
where you get called a cunt.
Thanks,
routinely.
No, a useless cunt.
A useless cunt.
Useless cunt, yeah. You can find me everywhere at Reb Lavoie. You can follow my YouTube show at Something's Off. Get episodes early and ad-free and everything else we make at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media. Follow the show everywhere at Crime Writers On, but mostly you should join our Facebook group. It is rad. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our line editor is the excellent Livy Burdett. The EP of this show is Kevin. This show was recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, the closet in our New Hampshire basement where We also run a sinister black ops unit within a self-styled paramilitary organization that will get us out of trouble for anything. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
So this is like the penultimate person to be following. And he
Don't say
knows...
penultimate, that means second to last. Just say ultimate.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So this is the... I know. Why do I say penultimate? I think people use that wrong.
They do.
Partners in Crime Media.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. From roof repair to emergency plumbing and more, done well. So the next time you have a home project, leave it to the pros. Get started at Angie.com.